Hello all the beautiful people of the internet. Today I have a video that's a little bit different than the videos that I'm usual or that I use that I do. But if you don't know, I have my college degree now. I got my BA in liberal studies, and I just wanted to come on here and give you guys a few tips if you're just starting, or if you're in high school, or if it's I'm sure if it's your senior year, you kind of know a couple of these tips. But if not, I just kind of want to give a heads up out there because I, going into college, didn't know a lot about it. Like my sister and brother did a little bit of college, but I didn't know my way around, and I didn't know the tips and the tricks, and I just kind of want to help those out there who are the first of their generation to go to college, or who just kind of don't know and want to figure yourself out. That's awesome, and I am here to help you out. So let's get started. If you're in high school and you haven't applied to any colleges yet, what I would recommend is definitely tour schools if you can, if that's a possibility for you. If it's not a possibility for you, then that's totally fine. You can always do your own research by going online and looking at how much it costs tuition wise. So something that I never thought about looking into was parking permits. I didn't think about it because I decided to stay local, so ours wasn't too bad, but I know a couple friends that went to other really popular universities, and their parking permits were like $500 and upwards. It was a lot of money for parking, so half of the students in that school just rode bikes. Next, if you guys, like I said, you guys can always do research and stuff of schools, but if you guys have the opportunity to go to a school, I would definitely recommend touring a school. When I was a senior, I would take vacations on the weekends and stuff. Well, obviously because I was in high school, but I would go with my family to different places, and I used that opportunity to go to this school. So originally I wanted to go to UC Santa Barbara, but after looking at the amount that I would pay tuition wise, and then the fact that as a freshman I would have to stay in a dorm on campus, and then dorm fees just became a lot, and I didn't want to come out of school with a lot more debt, so that's why I decided to stay local. But I would definitely recommend, if you have the opportunity to go with your family and tour school, you do. If not, I know a lot of the times high schools, or if you join a club, either the advisors or the clubs will take seniors and take them around to different colleges. I would look into that, go into the office and just kind of ask around and see if there is a club or a advisor that would be willing to take a group of students. Even if it's something that you guys have to organize, I think that'd be really beneficial. Okay, my next tip would be finding out what you want to be. This is a really hard question for a lot of people, and I 100% understand why, because you have to make a life decision at the age of 18 on what you want to be for the rest of your life. And so that is just nerve-wracking to begin with. I would highly recommend going and volunteering in that area, or joining the club or something like that, a club that's dedicated to the area that you want to be in, because a lot of the times at 18 years old, at 18 years old, we don't know what we want to be yet, at least not 100%. And would you really want to be that for the rest of your life? And figuring out your 18-year, would you trust, me, going back to my 18-year-old self, would I trust my 18-year-old self 1000% with my life decisions? Heck no. I know a lot more now than I did then. So I would just highly recommend going to the field that you want to do or be, and figuring out if that's something that you still want to do or be after volunteering. It's okay if you enter into college and you don't know exactly what you want to be right away. The first 2 years of college are pretty much gen ed anyways, so I would recommend joining a club, like I said, volunteering, joining a club in those first 2 years of just things that you're interested in. I only have 2 tips on financial aid. For one, do it. Definitely fill out financial aid. Financial aid isn't just for the federal student aid that you're going to be receiving if you receive or if you qualify for it, but it also will qualify you for student loans. Classes. So there are two there are, I'm sure, a ton of different types of classes, but the two you come across the most are going to be online classes, or the classes where you have to be physically present for. Figure out which one you enjoy the most and get the most out of, and just the ones that suit you the best. I know me personally, I don't do online classes very well. I'm the type of student that needs to be in front of a teacher asking them questions. It helps me focus better, and it allows me to feel, I don't know, like I can ask questions easier to the teacher because they can see me. But yeah, so just figure out what type of classes you like most. I would recommend maybe your freshman year of college signing up for an online class and a couple online classes, or a couple like sit down in class classes, and just figure out which one you're best at. I know, especially our generation, we always have things going on. We always feel like we have to go. So a lot of the times we think that online classes are what's for us and what's going to be best. So you sign up for a lot of online classes, then you forget about them, you fail or something like that, or you just don't get everything you should be getting out of them. So don't. I mean, if you're paying for school, or even if you're not paying for school, the knowledge is what you're there for. Okay, so books. This sounds really bad, but hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I rarely ever bought my books. That sounds really bad. Yeah, I rarely ever bought my books. For one, they're stupid expensive. For two, I never bought them before I went to class, because sometimes the teachers would be like, well, it's a recommended read. A lot of teachers, they won't make you don't even use the book. I think that's the most ridiculous thing, when teachers make you buy a book that they know that you're not going to use. Like the teachers that lecture and then put PowerPoints up and then only test you based off of what they lectured and put PowerPoints, even though they say that they're going to test you based on the book, but they never actually test you based on the book, and your book costs you $300. That is a sucky situation to be in. I've had a lot of teachers do that to me, and I just thought it completely sucked. So if you have like a little bit of intel, like if you have somebody that had that class before, you can always ask them, hey, when you took the class, did you guys use the book? And they can tell you yes or no. And then the cool thing is if they did use the book, you can always ask, hey, but did you buy the book? And if they said yes, you can be like, well, I'll buy the book off of you. That way you get the book right then and there, and it's a little bit cheaper, hopefully. So there are a ton of different sites that buy books. I am really weird with the internet and buying things off of the internet. I have to really trust the site or know people who bought things off the site, and the site needs to be legit to me, because if not, I will not buy things off of the site, no matter how cheap it is. So I think to me, what I stuck to the most is Amazon and Chugs, sorry, Cheggs, Chugs. That's just the ones that I like the most, and it seemed to be like the cheapest to me. Also, what I figured out towards the end, because I don't really have Facebook, what I figured out towards the like very end, like my senior year, was that there's like Facebook pages for colleges that has a bunch of people from your college on it that are selling and buying books. So you can just scroll and see if your book is there. Really cool, but always make sure if you're gonna meet up with anybody that you meet up in a well-lit place in like mid-afternoon where like people are around and seeing you. Don't get in a bad situation trying to buy a cheap book. A video, I will link it down below if you guys want to look at it, but just a few quick tips on studying. If they're tutoring for that course and you don't feel like you're getting it or understanding it, even if you do feel like you're getting or understanding it, I highly recommend tutoring. I went to tutoring a lot, a handful of times. Like I just felt like I got out so much more out of that class by going to tutoring, because I would talk to a different person that has a different perspective than my teacher does on it. Or if you feel like you don't want to go tutoring, get together with some people in the class, some people that understand what's going on in the class, because do not get together with a bunch of people that have no idea what's going on in the class. So definitely get together with somebody who does understand what's going on, at least a little bit. That way it's beneficial for both you, them, and everyone else that's in that group. Don't be afraid of your teachers. I know that sometimes they can seem intimidating because they are where they're at. but just do not be intimidated by them. They're there, like their whole purpose is to teach you. So for one, if they're not teaching you correctly, it's okay to say, hey, listen, I don't get it, you explain this weird. At the end of the day, you're kind of helping them, and you obviously don't be disrespectful about it, but just let them know. Secondly, if you don't understand something and you feel scared to raise your hand during class, there are always office hours, and there are always after class where you can sit back and talk to them, or email them if you don't feel comfortable talking to them face to face. But yeah, get to know some of your teachers. It would be really cool for your experience. You're gonna like it a lot more by getting to know your teachers. And if you ever need a letter of recommendation, just know. Goodness gracious, can I go on for hours about work and money and college kids and brokenness? Yes, you will feel broke half the time, or you will feel exhausted working a full-time job and going to school full-time. Honestly, go to school however is most comfortable for you. So like, if you feel more comfortable taking 1 or 2 classes because you feel like that's where you're gonna get the most out of these classes, then do it that way. But if you are only taking 1 or 2 classes because you feel like the money at the time that you're making is great and you don't want to give that up, reconsider. I mean, I know it may be hard for some people. I know everyone's in different situations, so I 100% understand that. But if you can, if there's a possibility for you to go to school full-time and work part-time, do so. Because out of experience, I tried to push myself my sophomore year, I think it was, or my junior year. I think between my junior and sophomore year, I tried to push myself into working 2 part-time jobs, which ended up adding up my hours was like a full-time job and a half. I was working over 50-something hours every single week. I was exhausted. I would come home and I would fall asleep on my homework. I did horrible. I did the worst that I ever had done in school. The year that I took up my full 2 part-time jobs that ended up being, like I said, a ton of hours, I failed classes for no reason. I was doing perfectly fine in these classes and just decided to skip out on a couple assignments and skip out on a couple tests, and I failed those classes, and I regret it so much because I obviously didn't tell you guys much, but I graduated during summer, so I was unable to walk stage because my school did not allow me to walk stage without graduating that year. So I graduated the same year as all my friends, but I graduated this summer after, and so they walked in May, and then I graduated in June, something like that. But I graduated in summer, so it was just a really sucky feeling, and I can attribute not walking stage to the year that I tried to push myself too hard. And obviously I could have done it, but I had a lot more things going on at the time, so it was just like I focused on the money, I focused on the partying, I focused on everything that I wasn't supposed to be focusing on, which is school. So my main idea, and the thing that if you can get anything out of this video, I would tell you, or I would hope that you would get the fact that school is an important thing if this is what you want to do. If that's the career choice that you want to do, focus on school. The money will come, okay? The money is gonna come later on down the road. When you're in your career, when you're set in your career, the money will come, it will be there. If you can get anything out of this video, if you're in school right now, make sure that you have your head down and you're focusing. Obviously enjoy your life, but if you can put aside maybe a couple hours out of like partying or watching TV, and just focus on your studies, and think about it, if that couple hours of focusing is going to get you to the point where you want to be, get you to your goal faster, then why not do that? So that's awesome. That's all I have for you guys today. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it was a little bit different. It was just pretty much me talking in front of the camera, but I really hope you guys enjoyed and got something out of it. I will leave the link to, like I said, to my study videos on the bottom, and I think that's it. Also, you guys, I will leave my social media stuff on the bottom, so make sure to go follow me on that if you aren't already. And have a great day, my lovies. My lovelies.
One little fight. Because Marie was an auntie and I'm